These are my 5 tips for your art business. A successful artist is one that can balance creativity and commerce. Aloha, I'm Welzie. I'm an artist out here in Maui, Hawaii. Make sure to stick around to the end for my bonus tip on your art business. You don't have to be a starving artist. Don't let that define you. It's okay to be broke for a little bit, but you want to move beyond that and be able to become a professional artist and make a living doing it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch my other videos that will help you become a professional artist and start making a living doing what you love. So tip number 1 for my art business tips is learn. I know this, if you're watching this video right now, that means you want to learn. It is so important to invest in yourself and to take the time to learn business. Oftentimes they won't teach the business side in art school. It is important to make art, create art, and go out there and show your work. It's also important to spend time learning how to do the business side. And this is super cringy for, most artists when they're starting out, they just want to create, and you will get to that point. But if you don't have a good mindset on business and don't know what to do, you need to start learning. Like, you learned how to draw, you learned how to do a lot of stuff in life. Watch videos, read books. Read books are super huge. Go out and do an art festival so you can learn how it is to just do a transaction. Like, it's okay to start at the bottom. You will make mistakes along the way. I was a guy living in a van that could barely sell a painting for $20 cash, and my business sense was really terrible. And over time, I've learned, and I've had help learning how to do the business. Like, I didn't learn all this just on my own. People have helped me along the way and helped me grow into, what I am now. So it's really important to understand that you don't know about business and that you need to spend time on learning. Any successful professional artist, they probably spend as much time on the business as they do creating art. So that is part of the art game. And if you don't like that, then that's great. You might just be a starving artist or a hobbyist for the rest of your life and go for it. But if you don't want to be a starving artist and you want to move forward and be able to make money doing this so you can do it for a full-time living, you have to learn, and you have to start somewhere. So learn. Spend the time and learn about business. Tip number 2 is start keeping track. How much time you're spending, how many pieces you're making, start getting data points. So important. Even if it's in your sketchbook and it's loose numbers, nothing's really super accurate, start getting in the habit of taking down how much money you're spending on art supplies. Even how much time you're doing it. I spend about 5-10 hours. It's okay if your numbers aren't totally accurate right now. You're learning. You might not even have a DBA, a business license, or anything like that. That's okay. When you keep track of your numbers, you start to realize how much you need to sell something for to make some sort of profit. And it just gives you data points to go on. Okay, if I make $100 a painting and it costs me $25 to make it, I make $75. Well, how many paintings do I need to make at $75 to make $1,000 a month? You can start using the math to figure out what you need to do to get to where you need to go. If your goal is $55,000 a year, you can start reversing that and go, okay, well, if I make $100 a painting, I need to sell this many paintings in order to reach that goal. So all the really data points that you get from it can help you formulate the math, the reverse engineering of how much money you want to make. Start keeping data, get those numbers, and they'll start to make more and more sense as you get older or as you spend more time in the art game and you practice it. Tip number 3. So I have written down, don't stay under the table. So when you're starting out, to get a business license can be really expensive, and it's hard to play by the rules when you're just starting out because it's so expensive in some states to just have a business. In the beginning, you might be doing some stuff for cash. I'm sure that will happen. And that is great because you just need to start somewhere. Start getting stuff going. You can't stand under the table forever. You will have to end up getting a Square reader and start putting stuff through a bank account, because if it's under the table, you can only sell something up to $300 cash, which is like what an ATM can withdraw at the most. So you're really limited when you stay under the table. And for a long time, I wanted to stay under the table because I was too nervous about going and being the legitimate route. What I did find from this is once went completely legitimate with using QuickBooks and taxes and all the business stuff, that you really have a lot more opportunity to grow than staying under the table. Now I love paying taxes because it shows that I'm making money. And the more taxes you pay, that means the more money you're making. You know, of course you want your taxes as low as possible. But my point is that like, it's important to understand where you're at in the art game and then to be moving forward in a professional, above the table, paying the taxes, using QuickBooks, that professional approach, because other professional businesses will work with you then, but they won't if you're under the table. So understand that it's okay to be in that under the table zone for a little bit, but as you grow, you want to be learning and figuring out how to get yourself above the table into that professional area where you're doing everything right, and you'll find you'll actually get more work and make more money by doing it this way. It's scary, I know, but take it step by step, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't have to. You can make little mistakes along the way. It's okay. Everyone does, you know, but just keep moving the ball forward with becoming more and more professional as you grow in your art career. My tip number 4 for art business tips is sales tactics. There's no point of having an art business if you're not making sales. You can have the most legitimate spreadsheets, all your business licenses, whatever you might need for a business. But if you're not making sales, you don't have a lot of money coming in, and it gets a lot easier to pay taxes. It gets a lot easier to pay for QuickBooks. It gets a lot easier to do everything when more money is coming in. It also becomes a lot more fun when you're writing down into your spreadsheet of how much money you're making when there's more money. And the best way to make more money as an artist is to become better at selling. And this is really hard, and you're not going to master it overnight, and you're not going to master it from one video, and you're not going to master it from reading one book. How you're going to get better at sales is going out there, standing in front of your art and talking with people and making mistakes and going, oh shoot, I missed that sale. Like I shouldn't have said this. That's going to happen forever. Every time I'm talking with a collector or a potential collector, I replay that conversation in my head and just figure out how I could have done it a little better, and maybe talked about my art in a little better way than I have before. So it's an ongoing process with getting better at sales. And just understand that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You don't figure it out right away. At the end, I'll recommend a couple books that have really helped me, but I think working on your sales, reading about sales is a great way to increase your art business. So tip number 5, which is finding out what the best time of day for you is creating, and when's the best time of day for you to do the business stuff, because you do have to do both. When you are the most creative, like for me, it can be in the morning time where I want to go in, I'm feeling the creative juices and I want to go in and be creative, but I burn out after 6 hours or so. The rest of the day I can kind of spend doing business stuff because I'm already got my creative juices out. My brain, I'm switching over to my left or my right, whatever one's the not creative side, and do your business stuff then. So for you, it might be in the morning with a cup of coffee. You don't feel like painting or drawing or doing anything, but you can answer emails and you can put numbers into a spreadsheet and you can do some business stuff. So figure out what works best for you and like double down on that. Go, okay, this is my business time and this is my creative time. Don't mix your creative time and your business time. Don't start drawing and be like, oh, I got to check an email and go check an email. You don't want to be moving back and forth like that. You really want to designate each of those times. And if you can only do 10% of your time on, tip number 1, learning business, do that when it's most appropriate and you can learn and retain that information. Figure out when your brain works for business and when your brain works for creating. And that will really help you kind of make sure you get the business side done, and it'll make sure that it doesn't interfere with the creative side. Because I know as a beginning artist, the business and the creative, that really just, there's this push and pull, and it's so hard to deal with it all. And it is, I totally feel for you, but figure out when works for you to do your business stuff, when works for the creative stuff, and go from there. I hope these tips are helpful to you. I know they are pretty loose and broad, but they're here to kind of give you a guideline of where to go next. This is an introductory video, so you can now take maybe one of these tips and dive a little further into that. My bonus tip is to minimize your Instagram time and spend that extra 10 minutes you get by shutting that Instagram off and reading about business, and not getting your business tips from Instagram. I know I have like business stuff in my feed that doesn't really count. You need to read a book. 2 books that really helped me out. One in sales was How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's been a book around for like 90 years. Read that book. It's a It's a thin book, easy read, but it'll just help you get in a little better mindset about sales. And then Maria Brophy's Art Money Success was a big game changer for me on how to kind of just have a little more confidence in the business side of it, because I definitely suffered from like insecurity on being the business side, having to do the business side of the art. And it was a struggle for me, and it was a struggle for me for years. And that book really helped me kind of break out of my own shell of, you know what, no, I can charge a little more for this. I've spent time on this. My work is valuable, and I need to start treating it that way. You know, for $20, $40, those $2, they will help you gain confidence to move forward with your art business. A lot of this in the beginning for you is you just lack confidence in business and the art business, and that lack of confidence keeps you from moving forward. It keeps you from learning. It's easier to say, oh, I don't know this, I'll just create, because I can get lost in the creation. But you know, hopefully this video will give you just a nudge of confidence to go out and get a book, and that book will give you a nudge of confidence to try making a spreadsheet, and it just slowly builds from there. You know, like you didn't become a good artist overnight. You practice for years and years and years. It's the same with the art business. So I hope this video helps. Make sure to, you know, like it, subscribe, leave a comment. Any questions about art business and all that stuff, please leave them below. I answer all questions, and let me know if this video helps. I have other videos on art professionalism, art business, all this fun stuff. So keep it up. I know it's terrifying. And if you landed on this video, you're in a position where you want to learn and you want to figure it out. So I'm here to tell you, go do it. Get off the couch, put the pen down, spend some time, and start learning. You will figure it out. It doesn't happen overnight. All right. Aloha from Maui. You.